Hi everyone, I'm Tasneem back here with this week's movie review. I'm a huge fan of horror films and I love a good scare. But when it comes to this genre, Bollywood isn't the best at delivering the scares. Dharma Productions' latest release, Bhoot, promises a spooky experience unlike one we've seen before. The last time Bollywood released a film titled Bhoot was in 2003, directed by Ram Gopal Verma and starring Urmila Matondkar. That movie was genuinely creepy. This latest version stars Vicky Kaushal and takes a true event and twists it around to give it a supernatural feel in an attempt to create the first part of a horror film franchise. So let's take a look and see what Karan Johar has up his sleeve with Bhoot, the Haunted Ship Part 1.
मेरा नाम पृथ्वी है। मैं सीबर्ड शिप पर सर्वेइंग ऑफिसर हूँ। पता करिए सीबर्ड का कोई रिकॉर्ड है क्या?
बहुत सी कहानियां हैं सीबर्ड के बारे में। सीबर्ड हॉन्टेड है।
हाउस वर्कर के अलावा एक लड़की भी थी शिप के पास।
The Seabird is supposedly a haunted ship that has reached Mumbai's shores unannounced. Prithvi, played by Vicky Kaushal, is in charge of removing the ship from India's waters. However, Prithvi is battling inner demons of his own as he recently lost his wife and daughter in an accident. What Prithvi encounters in the ship and in his own life is the basic premise of Bhoot. It's not easy to create a genuinely scary movie that rattles people and leaves an impression. While Bhoot tries, it ultimately fails to scare as it resorts to the usual jump scare tactics with sudden sounds and momentary creepy visuals. The story is more heartbreaking than it is terrifying. Similarly to the Amir Khan movie Talash, here our protagonist is suffering from a personal tragic loss. He refuses to take medication for his hallucinations so that he can continue to see his wife and daughter, and this creates the perfect breeding ground for what he witnesses. The first half, which sets up the premise, is interesting, as we get to know about Prithvi's tragic backstory and the initial introduction to the ship and the hauntings. It manages to keep you engaged. But in the second half, it comes crashing down as it becomes the usual formulaic horror film. What does work for the movie is the look. A giant abandoned ship is a great setting for a horror film. The long corridors and dark interiors is perfect as it looks spooky and creepy all the time. The CGI and effects are decent, but the lighting, sound, and overall cinematography is good. Vicky Kaushal is excellent in this mediocre film. He elevates the movie with his reactions, expressions, and fears. The way he portrays the emotional loss is excellent, and the actor's talent shines throughout. He's definitely the reason we stay invested in the film. The movie has one good song, a love song that features Bhumi Pednekar, who makes a special appearance in the movie called Channa Ve that stands out. Bhoot as a horror movie isn't exactly a great watch. It has elements of horror, and though they're not entirely terrible, they could have been much better and more impactful. The movie ends up being more of a psychological drama than a horror watch, and for that angle and Vicky Kaushal's performance, we're going with 2.5 stars. Since this film is part 1, there will most definitely be a part 2. Here's hoping the makers learn from their mistakes with this film and come back with something truly haunting.